guys, C here. Thank you so much for clicking to join me in today's video. Today I am sharing with you everything that I made this year. So the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm quickly going to recap every single piece that I've sewn in 2024. Now during this recap season, I have already highlighted my favorite makes of the year as well as my duds for the year. So if you haven't already, definitely make sure that you check that out. They will be linked in a playlist on the end screen of this video. This year I have made a whopping 60 pieces, and while I am not in any competition, I am not trying to be the best, I'm not trying to make the most, I'm just out here having fun, okay? Just having fun. I've been very studious with you and sharing my highs and lows this year. I hope you guys appreciate the transparency, and I also hope that you see the progression and the increase in skill set over the course of the year, because I am super proud of myself. Now, because I have so many makes, this video is going to be broken down into two parts. This is going to be part 1, my makes 1 through 30, and then in a couple days, make sure that you come back, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out makes 31 through 60. With all that being said, let's hop right into it with the first make of 2024. The first make for 2024 was Simplicity 9644. I made view A and I used a beautiful marigold fabric that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I love the dress. It was my first time easing my way back into making items that had zippers. The zipper was garbage. It was very bad, but the make was beautiful. Unfortunately, the fabric snagged a lot, so I no longer have that piece. I have scrapped it for linings or pockets, or just testing my stitches and stuff like that. So I no longer have it, but I recently made it again for Thanksgiving. So I love that. Simplicity 9644. Definitely recommend this pattern. It's one of my favorites. My second make for 2024 was Simplicity 9679. I made view C, and I used a knit from Hobby Lobby. It was a blue and white checkered knit. I love that fabric. It might not have been the best for the top, only because when I'm putting a garment on or taking it off, I kind of got to be aware of how much use or how much wear I'm putting it through. So that fabric was just a little too thin. Very cute. I still have it. I recently wore it with the jeans that I made. I love it. I love the pattern. I actually made the pattern again, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But the fabric was super cute. It was a Carolina blue, so I felt like I was repping my state. But once again, it was just a little too thin. But the top is still beautiful, and I still wear it. Definitely recommend this pattern. If you don't have it, you definitely need it. It's sexy, but still modest. Definitely one of my favorite patterns. Number 3 is McCall's 8019, and I made view A. I touched on this in my last video, and that was my biggest sewing fails, because this is the first and the only make this year that was never made. It never came to fruition. So if you want more information on that, definitely make sure that you visit that video. For this fail, I used a lime green Sherpa. It reminds me of the Grinch. I had issues with the contrast, so it never came to fruition. I think I got as far as the front of the jacket, and I just ended up scrapping it. So that was make 3, the make that was never made. Number 4 was my make of redemption, my coat of redemption. I used McCall 7847. I made view B in a beautiful faux fur. Here it is, actually. A beautiful white faux fur. Love the jacket. It is a flawless piece. It is a beautiful piece. I love this pattern. Definitely recommend it for beginners, whoever. This is definitely a pattern that you must have, especially if you love faux fur. I will be working with this pattern again very soon in 2025, so look out for that. Calls 8174. I made view B, Dead in the Winter. I highlighted this piece in my favorite makes, so definitely make sure. Look here, okay? A lot of these pieces have solo dedicated videos, or they are highlighted in my recap videos. So at the end of this video, just go check out the playlist on the end screen to catch up, because we're gonna keep this quick or I'm gonna lose you, okay? So McCall's 8174, view B in a beautiful hot pink slinky knit fabric from Hobby Lobby. It is beautiful, and I looked I look pretty good in it, okay? I made it dead in the winter with no place, no rhyme or reason for the pattern. I've gotten a lot better. I no longer try to waste my time and energy and materials on pointless garments. That was one of them, but she was well worth it. I will be making this pattern again because I love all three of the views. This should definitely be a spring or summer piece coming soon, and I definitely need to figure out where I'm going to be wearing my pink dress next year. So, number 6, we're going back to Simplicity 9679. This was just a hot favorite of mine at the beginning of the year, okay? This time around, I made view A, and I used the scrap that I had from my hot pink pretty girl dress with nowhere to go. I used scrap from that to make Simplicity 9679. Again, view A. Still have it. Love it. It is beautiful. It feels good. It was definitely a better fabric choice for this pattern than the original Carolina blue checker. This one had better drape to it. It was clingy, but it was clingy in a more flattering way. It wasn't hugging my midsection. It was falling and draping just right. I loved it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Once again, you have to have that pattern. Number 7 is the dress that I'm wearing today, and that is my dress for Valentine's Day. I have not worn this dress since Valentine's Day night, and putting it back on, I feel oh so good. You know, if I could pull it up a little bit, you know, so the girls aren't hanging out, I think I could get away with this at work. Am I gonna try my chances? Am I gonna try it? Yes, you bet I am. But I am feeling really good. It's nice to put this piece on again. I made this piece with a textured metallic knit from Hobby Lobby. I purchased this fabric either the beginning of the year or late 2023. Got it on clearance from Hobby Lobby. It looks like a Brillo pad. Someone mentioned the fabric looked like a Brillo pad, and now I can't get that out of my head. And it is a little coarse on the touch, but inside it's super smooth. This clings and it drapes, and it just makes me look really good. I love it. McCall's 8348. I do anticipate on making this pattern again. Probably view E, a little more drama. So definitely have to find some place to wear it in order for me to make it, because 2025, we're all about intentional pieces, okay? The next pattern, because I'm gonna lose track with these numbers. All right, number 7, 8, 9, shoot. Damn it, I did it. What is this? 7, 8, 8, number 8. Simplicity 9707. I did view A, and I used a poly satin from Hobby Lobby. I had one heck of a time with this pattern. I am not going to dwell on it anymore because I'm trying to stay calm and collected, and that's not going to do it for me. Next, McCall's 8019. I revisited this pattern to give it another go. My Grinch madness was just a disaster. I wanted to redeem myself. I used a Sherpa from Hobby Lobby that was on clearance. I cleared off the bolt, even though I was a little shy of the fabric that I needed for this pattern. I thought maybe I could get away with it. I could not. I had to give up the pockets. I had to give up the length on the jacket. It was not a redeeming piece. I also fudged on the zipper, so the zipper wasn't correct. Like, the zipper pulled the stop. I cut it by mistake. I don't know. I don't even know how this didn't wind up on my sewing, my biggest sewing fails. How did I forget this? Anyway, that coat was worn for 1 or 2 times, and it was discarded because it was not the redeeming piece that I needed, and this is the last time that I touched this jacket. However, I did rebuy it. I rebought the jacket in a smaller size. The first two times I attempted to make it, I made a size large, and the brown Sherpa jacket, it was just too big. So I went ahead and I rebought the pattern sometime this summer, so I can give it another go maybe next year, and this time in a medium. With a little more experience now, I may be able to tackle it and tackle it successfully, so look out for that. Number 10, Simplicity 9894 is a pattern that I will never make again. I made view A and view C. I used a 7-ounce leopard print denim. That fabric was beautiful. It was pretty well executed. It wasn't terrible, but it just, the fit, the top just didn't fit as well. I was in the process of slowing down my milk production for breastfeeding my last. So I was losing volume in my chest over the course of making it. I had to add a gusset to the skirt. I needed a skirt that was about almost 2 inches wider in the width. Anyway, I'm not gonna make it again, okay? I'd rather make this form, this silhouette, in a knit than a woven. And so, yeah, bye-bye. It's a beautiful pattern, though. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful pattern, but it is not for me. Next. Makes 12 through 15 are part of the mini collection or the mini wardrobe that I made this spring. And for that collection, I used Simplicity. Oh, this is the display. Simplicity 9716. I used view A, the tank. Simplicity 9751. I made view A, the skirt, as well as view D, maybe. And then Simplicity 8655. I made view A, the tie front top. I used a solid green knit from Joann and a dragonfly green mesh from Joann as well to accomplish this wardrobe, and I love it. I've worn all the pieces interchangeably as well as solo several times. Now, the tank is not my most favorite because it is heavily flawed, but all the other pieces I wore on rotation quite often, spring and summer. So I definitely love all three of those patterns and highly recommend all those patterns as well. Number 16 is a cardigan that I made. I should still have this cardigan. It is McCall's 8811. I don't have the pattern anymore because I cut a size 12 in the pattern and it was just a hair too small. It was just too tight around my arms and too tight around my back. And so since I cut a smaller size, there's no way that I could get a size 14 or 16 out of it. The pattern is also no longer in print. And I picked up some other cardigan or sweater patterns, so I'm not going to sweat it. I used a terry fabric from Joann. It was very vibrant, loved all the colors in it, and I still have it. I just don't wear it as often. It's probably going to be a piece that I do retire because I'm not the most comfortable wearing it. Comfort is just one of those things. It's a non-negotiable for me when I get dressed. If I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to wear it, and unfortunately that's the case with that sweater. Moving on to number 17 is Simplicity 9273. That is a top pattern with 3 different variations. This is a top that I wear oh so often. Love the neutral that it is. I love that I can dress it up as well as casual it down. That was my first time making the pattern. I definitely look forward to making it again as I work on more wearable pieces next year. Definitely recommend that pattern. Number 18 is McCall's 8138. I made view A. It was every bit of my intention to make view C, but I ended up missing and screwing up on the first freaking step of this pattern. So ended up having to do view A with the zipper in the back. A lot went on with that pattern. However, it was made. It is super cute. I made this dress using stretch black faux leather that I purchased from, I want to say, Hobby Lobby. And it looks very similar to what the model is wearing on the pattern booklet. But once again, I had to use view A because I fudged when view C was every bit my intention. I cut a size 12 in this dress, and it is just a hair too uncomfortable. I also can't remember if I have the zipper in the dress, in the back of the dress or not, but I do know getting in and out of that dress is such a hassle. The only time I've worn it is when, as soon as I made it and I took pictures in it. I have not worn it again. It is very short. It's giving mini length. Okay, so I need to see if I can get away with it with some black tights and some boots. See if I could wear it to work. If not, then it will be another piece that is retired. But it's also cute that I would love to find someone who can wear it. But yeah, it's just a little, it was a nightmare getting it on and off. So I need to go to my closet and revisit that make. But McCall's 8138, I definitely went out and purchased the pattern again so that I can cut a larger size in it to give it another try. So definitely looking forward to making that. The next pattern that I did is McCall's 7893. I made view, was it B? A. It might have been view A. But I made this in collaboration with Chris from Unsocial. We were making wrap dresses that weren't the DVF pattern in response to the DVF pattern releasing this year. I used a cute little knit from Joanne. It was part of their juvenile line, which I don't care what anyone says. I go through and I look at that line and I find a ton of fabrics that I like. That's why I found that fabric, and it was also on clearance. I got a great price per yard on that fabric. Can't remember exactly what it was, but I did do a solo dedicated video and review on this pattern, and I've worn it a few times. It's definitely one of those more wearable patterns that I have. Unfortunately, it just hugs my midsection a little. It's not flattering across my stomach, and with the shapewear and just sucking it in, it just doesn't look that good on me. I have to wear it when there's no bloat. Like I am not bloating. Fresh in the morning, you know, but by the end of the day, I'm not looking too good in it. So I don't know. I haven't gotten rid of it because it's still a really great piece. But if I don't feel good when I'm wearing it, why keep it, right? I could donate it, give it to someone, and they would enjoy it more. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. 2025, I might start working out. Number 20 is my DIY ironing board that I made earlier in the spring or summer. I used no pattern for that. I just traced out my ironing board, purchased some new batting, used some cotton fabric from Hobby Lobby, and definitely love it. It is wonderful. It's a wonderful piece. It is still holding up really good, and it just gives me a little brightness when I'm pressing my garments. I am definitely a presser. I press religiously anytime I'm sewing, so I love that make. Number 21 is Simplicity 8839. I don't know where this pattern is. I should still have it. I didn't have a problem with that pattern at all. It took a little bit of time to do, but it yielded great returns. It was my first time working with Paisley. I've never been a fan of Paisley fabrics, but I actually really like that top. I still have it. I wore it quite often in the spring and summer, so I'm looking forward to pulling that out next year when the weather gets warm again. If I layer it up, I should be able to get away with wearing it now, but Simplicity 8839, definitely love that. Make number 22 is with Simplicity 8601, and this is when things started shifting. This is when I thought I was a knit girly through and through, and then after making this make, I thought to myself, maybe I really like wovens. So I made view C, and I used a rayon chiffon from Hobby Lobby. It had lemons and pink, and it was just fun and flirty and so cute yet still chic. And I wore it a lot. I wore this sucker out. I am definitely looking forward to warmer weather returning so I could wear it again. But this definitely tossed the odds back in favor of wovens, because since this make, I've been sewing wovens through and through. I also put my walking foot on for the first time with this make, per you guys' suggestions. And that walking foot is a godsend, and I use it nearly all the time. As a matter of fact, I get pretty annoyed when I have to take my walking foot off. And I bought an extra one for my second machine. That's how much I love it. So if you don't have a walking foot and you like or you're interested in working with slippery fabrics, highly recommend it. Makes 23 and 24 were baby blankets for my boys. I've made my daughter a handful of blankets over the course of her life. I realized I've never made the boys one, and yeah, that's about it. I used no pattern for that. I just purchased a yard of fleece and a yard of minky, sew them together, and there we have it. Number 25 was a glowing disaster. That was McCall's 7931. It was the bias cut slip skirt made out of a poly satin from Hobby Lobby. I made view B. I put a lot of time and energy to it, and it was too small. 2 sizes too small. And so it just sat in the shed because I had no one to give it to. I am going to redeem myself in 2025, and I'm going to give a slip skirt one more try, and hopefully I can nail the size accurately by reading the body measurements and sewing off that. Or I just might do that mock-up I've been talking about all year that I have still yet done. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Number 20. I said I was gonna stop trying to keep up with this. Number 23, 24, 20. Number 26 is my Mother's Day fit. That was New Look 6692. I want to say this is my first New Look pattern that I'd ever sewn. It was a glowing disaster, but did we walk away with a finished garment? Yes. I wore it one time, Mother's Day, very cute, lovely. I was around people who know nothing about sewing, so I didn't feel like I was judged or critiqued. But after Mother's Day, that dress was discarded. Was it a total waste of time? Maybe so. Number 26. Number 27, McCall's 8367. I made view B. This is my first time doing cargo pants. I used a beautiful gray nylon spandex. I think that was my first time working with nylon spandex. I love the fabric. It wears great. It drapes great. It looks great. The cargo pants are amazing. I have some fit issues with them, but nothing major. If I'd added more inches to the length, I'd wear them way more often. But I am going to keep this pattern to do view B again. I don't need a lot of cargo pants, but I do want to try my hand at it one more time. And my only issue would be probably reducing the amount of casings in the waistband and extending the length. But I definitely love that pattern. I enjoyed that make, and I'll definitely do it again. Number 28 is McCall's 8057. I have made this pattern 3 times this year since making it this spring or summer. For the first time around, I used a linen cotton in a beautiful teal color that I purchased from Joann. Fit issues, I was still playing around with the fit. I think I cut a 14 and ended up having to size down a good bit. Those pants are still a little too large, but I have them in the shed so that I can make some alterations to them, because when I did wear them out, I ended up splitting the side, and so I need to re-sew that side, patch up that hole. It would be lovely if I knew how to work my serger, especially when it comes to making the pants. 2025 is my year for that serger, okay? I'm gonna get it right. But yeah, I love the pants. The length was great. The colors definitely popping. Make 29 was my second New Look pattern that I worked with, and that is New Look 6650. I made view B, and I used a floral knit from Joann. I ended up making the split a tad higher, and ultimately regretted that, because then once I got to work and I paired it with heels, it was a little too short. So it is back in the she shed so that I can close up the split just a little bit more. I just didn't want it to look so matronly, and in hindsight it didn't. I just needed to walk around in it for a bit to realize that the split was probably in the right spot. Now I will be fixing or altering some of my Memades from this year in an upcoming video. So once again, if you haven't already, definitely make sure that you are subscribed and you come back. I definitely need to tackle those makes because they are collecting dust and space in the she shed, and with such a small footprint, it's gotta go. But that is make 29, and I classified it as one make 30, but it's 2 pieces, and that is New Look 6780. And I made this pattern in response to the Hot Girl Summer Sewing Challenge hosted by Rochelle from Rochelle Handmade Designs. I made view A, the jacket, and view B, and that was a great piece. I think my husband liked that. I think that was one of my favorite pieces that my husband liked, and he's so removed from sewing and fashion that if he really liked something, you know, I pat myself on the back because it got his attention. Anyway, I digress. I made this summer suit using linen from Hobby Lobby. Love it. It was definitely a great piece to dress up with heels and a clutch, as well as casual it down with my sneakers. So I'm looking forward to the change of the season so that I can wear it again, and I can wear them interchangeably, which I did. I wore this a handful of times actually. So those are makes 30 and 31. Now I'm going to pause here because we've made it halfway through. I hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely give me a thumbs up if so, and make sure that you come back in a couple days to see the remaining makes from 2024. As always, I love you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.